I was in my formative years trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Um, Electricity always fascinated me. I didn't quite understand anything about it, but I always found it intriguing. I found it intriguing right in grade school. And my father, he had friends all over Beacon, New York, which is where I was born and raised. And one of his friends happened to be an electrical engineer who worked for the New York Central Railroad. They were busy electrifying parts of the New York Central Railroad. At that time, I listened to him, I talked with him, I heard what he did, I liked what he did. And then I remember as far back as the ninth grade in high school, having to write in citizenship ed, what do you want to be when you grow up? So you had to write this famous paper. It was a big project for the year. So I then really did my research and I decided, you know what, I think I'm going to be an electrical engineer. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I think this stuff is here to stay, and I think there's a great future for it. I got to RPI, and then I decided when I was at RPI, I needed, my parents were very poor. I had a brother, two younger sisters. So we needed to come up with a way. I needed to come up with a way to supplement myself, and I found this co-op program. My freshman year, it was competitive at RPI. So there's only like 100 students out of the freshman class who are going to get co-op assignments. So I competed for it, and I actually got two offers. I got an offer from IBM, and I got an offer from American Electric and Power. I tossed it around, but having been born and raised in the Mid-Hudson Valley, and under the influence of my beloved mother, she pushed me to take the IBM job. So I did, took the IBM job. And from there, I realized it wasn't big electricity, it was little electricity. And, I decided computers made sense to me. I learned a lot about computers at IBM as a co-op back in 1964 while I was still a student at RPI. They clearly helped me pay my bills there. And it shaped me. It shaped my education. It shaped my thinking about things. I graduate from RPI, have a bunch of job offers. It's just a great, 1967 was a great year for electrical engineers. Had a job on the West Coast, had several jobs on the East Coast. And then again, under the influence of my mother, who we lost a few years ago, she convinced me to take the IBM job. And I did take the IBM job. I wanted to get married. I got married to my high school sweetheart. But I also wanted to continue my education. I said, let me get started. And of course, Syracuse comes into my life.
While working full-time, Nick Donofrio started working on his master's degree part-time. In a partnership with IBM, Syracuse University faculty would fly down to the Hudson Valley and teach classes for employees.
I said, okay, see what this is like. Very flexible. The professors come to us. So they literally come to the Mid-Hudson Valley twice a week. You can take, working full time, you can only take one course. But I think we had broken it up into quarters. So you could take literally 4 courses a year. 3 months, 4 courses a year to go if you go around the clock. And I did. So in less than 3 years, I got my master's degree, learned a tremendous amount. The professors were wonderful, built great and meaningful relationships because they were so willing. The professors were so willing to focus on you, and give you the attention that you needed. I mean, I was up to here at that time, in IBM, digital transformation, everything was going, monolithic circuits. We were big into FETs as well as bipolar devices. So I was a busy guy at work doing, believe it or not, honest work for a living. So, I actually was an engineer. I actually did design some of the very first integrated chips that IBM ever made. So And Syracuse had a lot to do with shaping the way I thought about things because that was all fresh in my mind. My whole master's degree was in circuit theory, and it was a constant refresh of either everything you knew or problems that you were having that you could um, kind of resurface with the professors. It's a rare thing for someone to build that kind of an extension program way back then. So we're talking about the late 60s, early 70s. Wasn't an internet, it wasn't a Zoom, it wasn't a WebEx, it was a physical extension program. You brought opportunity to me. And for that, I want you to know I am forever in your debt. I became a strong supporter of Syracuse. I fell in love with Syracuse from afar. So I really think everything old becomes new again. And I do think that Syracuse gets that. I think you understand that. We need to not simply be teaching people what is current in vogue. We need to be preparing them for the long run. We need to, look out on the horizon and say there's going to be a lot of changes out there. That's what I loved about my education at Syracuse is the professors were just so thoughtful that way. And I don't think they knew the future any better than anybody else, but I think they knew change better than anybody else. And they were absolutely committed to preparing us for change.
Donofrio was a 44-year IBM veteran who held the positions of Executive Vice President for Innovation and Technology and was also selected as an IBM Fellow, the company's highest technical honor. Donofrio is also a Syracuse University trustee.
We need more people in STEM disciplines because I have a different view of the world. I mean, I do see that we need to have true innovation in this world. We need better integration of thought. We need better diversity, better inclusion, better equity. We need more people engaged in the problems so that we can come up with the better solutions. And everything I've ever done for Syracuse or with Syracuse is along those lines.
Through the Donofrio Scholars Program, which grew into the Ambassador Scholars Program, Nick Donofrio supported engineering and computer science students from historically underrepresented groups.
It became obvious to me that success is more than just getting them there and educating them. Success is supporting everyone, allowing them to become a better person, allowing them to do what I did. Yes, scholarship is important. Paying tuition, paying room and board is important, but there are other things that the students need, other services that the students need.
With his input and guidance, the program helped connect students to a peer group on campus, mentorship, internship opportunities, and research opportunities, in addition to financial assistance.
I think the one thing I think of when I think of the Donofrio program was just the family and the bonds that you build with the people who are in the program with you.
It's a scholarship not just for one person, it's for us 10. That we all got the financial support, we all got the research experience, so we can all relate to each other. That's something that not everyone in the college gets to experience, and I think that that makes us special.
We had to meet pretty regularly that first semester that we got in, so I got to know these 9 other people of color in engineering.
And fall starts and it's just like a pile of work is dropped on you. And then you look to your left and right and you see 9 other people with the same workload dropped on them. And you're just like, wow, you have that instant connection because, my friends come from similar backgrounds that were in the program. And, just having those people just there for you at all times, just saw how that was, this was my new home. And I finally was able to be present here. And that's when I was actually able, to be successful.
When we saw each other through the hallways, it was like an instant click, we felt like a family. So that's really, that community we built is really important for me.
Even though we're all in the same programs, every part of engineering is touched, and you got to see your friends get really good and really immersed in what they do, and you're like, huh, if they can do it, I can, so Like I kind of wavered in engineering for maybe my first 2 years, but I think after my first internship, I'm like, you know what? I really see the practical application of everything we're doing in the classroom. You know, so the experiences that I got from the program actually made my classroom work a lot more meaningful.
That's what the Donofrios gave me. They gave me the start. So getting that research opportunity, and then I was able to develop my resume. You know, the career services, we formed a good connection.
There's what you learn in the classroom, right? But then once you go out, you just learn a ton more. The chance we got to do the first internship at straight out as freshmen, that was like life-changing experience.
When I started college, I started in the Summer Start program. That program was expensive, and I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to pay for it. So when I found out that it was going to be covered and other things would be covered through a program, I was just like, wow. Like, you know, at 18, that was like the first thing in my life that was ever covered in advance, you know. Like just growing up in Philly, like I really didn't have a lot of things, you know, handled in advance or covered at all. So it was just really so much stress knowing that someone else was looking out for me, someone else believed in me, and someone wanted to invest in me. So just knowing that someone wants to invest in you, you know, you start saying like, well, maybe I am worth something, you know. So it really helped me focus on school and not paying for school.
Having someone pushing you, champion you, validate you, it means a lot. It means everything.
It's weird to see your potential and then actually live up to it. You know, you always hear people say you can be anything you want. And as a kid, I loved Nike, I love Michael Jordan, I love the great NBA players. I'm just like, I'll never come near that, but it's nice to dream about. And you know, 18 years later, I work at Nike. I'm meeting some of the greatest athletes on the planet, and it's just, you know, it's insane for me. I'm still trying to take in the fact that this all happened. Even post-grad, I keep in contact with almost everyone I met through the Donofrio program, and they're actually pushing me to be better. You know, we never stop pushing each other, even after graduation. One day, I'm gonna look at my phone book and like almost all the names are gonna have like a doctorate degree next to them, you know, so it's just like, whoa.
The engineering school took it seriously, the dean took it seriously, the administrators took it seriously, and they put the gift to work to do exactly that. What more do you need? What more should you want? Tell me, you know, what training you need. And yeah, you asked if it was gratifying. It's incredibly gratifying. I mean, some of the best students in the university, you know, turned out to be Donofrio scholars, and the numbers prove themselves. It's the outcome. It isn't the outcome isn't getting them in. The outcome is getting them out successfully into the world. And I think that's where the ambassador program, the scholars program, I think that's where it takes its root. And that's what it aspires to do, is to continue to find ways of getting more and more students successful. Successful means you're doing what you want to do when you graduate from here. You know, so you have to seize the moment, you have to seize the opportunity, and we want to give more students the opportunity to seize the moment, to be able to enable them. Somebody enabled me to do it. And I hope that through the work that we're doing at Syracuse, we can enable many, many more people to do it. I'm hopeful that Syracuse, among others, are going to make a huge difference here. They're going to make a huge amount of difference here for everyone to follow.